So this is part 2 of Act Like an Artist, Play Like a Pro. But this one's going to be more personal to my own journey rather than like what's been going on in the world. And I wrote a few notes down that I'd like to share with you all. And it's going to basically be the guideline for what this episode will be about. So a couple of days ago, I was talking to T on the Tivoli love seat. It's one of the most comfortable Italian leather, fully wrapped sofa sets I've ever sat in. And something about it, it just feels like the womb. When you sit in it, it just feels plush all over and it feels amazing. And one day I will have that sofa set or a similar sofa set in our actual home. So talking to T on the Tivoli love seat, I realized I wanted to be liked by my parents. That bled into my relationships at home, school, work, and beyond. Now, I'm face to face with setting better boundaries and learning to like myself without permission or validation from others. Living with my mom for so many years has silently felt like something to be ashamed of and secretly a flex for saving money and working on myself. I'm realizing that my leverage became a limitation, which put a strain on my romantic relationship and a struggle on my relationship with myself and my manhood. That's the message. I feel like I said everything I needed to say in that, but I'll walk you through it from a much like a zoomed out perspective. That day it was a slower day. It was like, I want to say a Monday. So there wasn't as many customers coming into the store. And I just had got all my tasks done. And I was on the phone with T. We were talking about some logistical. And then eventually we just got into the conversation of, she asked me how a conversation was with somebody that we had talked to on the phone. And I shared how I felt about it, how they felt like they were venting and they didn't have anybody to talk to. So they decided that we were going to be the people they were going to talk to. And in the process of that, I realized that they were talking about things I didn't care about and didn't really want to hear. And I felt like really had no attribution or positive contribution to my life. If anything, it felt like it was taking energy to listen to that. But in the moment, I didn't speak up about it. I sat there and listened because there was a silent part in me that was like, oh, they probably need this. Let me just give them the space they need to express themselves so they can feel at ease. But in the process, it was robbing me of my peace. It was robbing me and T of our time together on my lunch break. It was taking a mental capacity and space for somebody else's bullshit that had no positive impact on my life at that moment in time. So ultimately, it felt like a waste of time. But I don't blame the person and what they were going through and what they were shedding and what they were sharing. I put that responsibility back on myself because I didn't set the boundary of, one, I don't have the time to really talk to you about those things. Two, if you're going to talk about those things with me, I'm going to require some accountability and responsibility from you. I got that from somebody on the internet. I ain't gonna lie to you. That was a good tip. Layla Harmozy, she said that she had a friend at the time that was always complaining to her about stuff in her life. And after a while, she just got so fed up with it. She said that, hey, stop talking to me about that because you're not doing anything about it. So I don't want to hear about it. And if you don't want my opinion, then don't talk to me about what you don't want my opinion about. In an empathetic way, but at the same time, it's like, if you're not going to change anything that you're complaining about, don't keep complaining about it to me. Do something about it or go find somebody else to complain to. That's a boundary. But then number 3, I allowed myself to feel like people pleasing was serving them, when really people pleasing only serves the version of me that no longer serves me. I feel like 1 and 2 are pretty self-explanatory, but number 3, that's the part that I really want to dive deep in on this episode briefly, because it goes back to exactly what I just spoke about, what I wrote. Growing up, I wanted my parents to like me for whatever reason. They were my first friends. I literally came through their inner sanctum and their scrotum. I was delivered through them from the divine. And for whatever reason, I wanted the messengers and the mail delivery people, mail delivery is crazy. I wanted the gardeners of this cultivated seed to like the seed they planted. Then really it wasn't their job to like me, and it's not my job to like them. They had a task, they had a duty, they had a responsibility to assist in my cultivation for me to continue to cultivate and coach his children. Period. It's pretty cutthroat. It's pretty masculine energy, but the truth of the matter from the masculine perspective, that's their duty. And they've done their duty. They've cultivated me to a point to where now I can go cultivate others. They've done their task 1,000% from the masculine perspective. But like I said, I was talking to T because her and I, we blend the masculine and the feminine in a harmonization. And while talking to her, the feminine in me came out more. And I'm like, from the masculine, they did their job. But from the feminine, there's some improvement that could happen. Personally. And I realized that the lacking of both of them and their relationship with their parents and their relationship with one another got funneled into me. When they had their harmonious ceremony where I was consecrated, that's the right word, right? Where I was conceived. When they had their harmonious ceremony where I was conceived, it wasn't just the energy in that moment that got downloaded. It was all of their experiences, especially emotionally charged in that moment, that got plummeted into that specimen that was that seed that became me. And whether they deal with that or not, it's really up to them. But a lot of that now is my responsibility because that's going to determine my rewards. And I realized that my mother didn't have the best relationship with her father because his father left him when he was in elementary school, and he jumped into manhood while he was still a boy. So he developed a lot of masculine intelligence, but not a lot of feminine intelligence. And my mother's mother passed away when my mother was 10. So she only got 10 years worth of feminine energy downloaded into her from her mother as far as external wisdom, but everything else got developed on her own with her sister and her peers and herself throughout life. So there's only so much that she knew before she had me, based on her relationship with her parents. And then my father, he was in a position to where his father was dang near a Rolling Stone. He had brothers and sisters that he was just finding out about in his adulthood, but also didn't have the best relationship with his father because his father was so much about work and entrepreneurship, and I need you to work in my store. Whereas he didn't really have the relationship that him and I have, where we can actually talk to one another. And then the relationship with his mother passed when I was 1 year old. So on both of the sides of the feminine energy in my life, both of my grandmothers were not really around for my upbringing. And both of my grandfathers weren't really emotionally available for my upbringing. So a lot of that became a responsibility of me and my parents. And now that I'm maturing, before I become a father, and as I become a husband, and as I become the man in me, I'm learning to develop that, because one day my wife's gonna need it. One day my children's gonna need it. But today, I require that of myself. And before I can give anything to them, I need that developed in myself and give that to myself so I know what giving grace to me feels like, so I can give grace to them and know when do they need me to be stern on a decision and when do they need me to be more flexible in my faith. So when her and I were on that Tivoli and I reflected on how much I wanted my parents to like me, I realized because it's because I wasn't given the guidelines on how to like myself. My parents didn't know. Their parents didn't know. Their parents before them wasn't even thinking about that. But in this generation, Gen Z, we care about the internal world just as much as the external world. If you think about the alphabet, Z is the last letter in this American alphabet before things are reset. So all of the lessons and blessings from A through Y come right into Z. And now we're the ones that's bringing all of this into the light in the information age, AKA the light age, to bring that truth to light and allow ourselves to use that information and apply it to our lives. Not just information you read in books, not just information you read online, not just information you get from communing with one another, the information of those Akashic records, the information of those divine downloads that live in your DNA. They're being awakened right now. They're being recharged right now. Your battery's being plugged into the source, not just the socket. And your cells are being electrified with the exact codes you need for Generation Alpha and beyond. We are the light bearers. We are the light bringers. We are going to be the ones to see the end and the beginning. We have a divine responsibility with that, and that starts with you and that starts with me. So as I've been reflecting on this spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, I've been seeing all the different levels and how they harmonize together to blend into what are the simple decisions I need to make to be successful in my walk. And that starts with learning myself, liking myself, loving myself, and leaning into who I truly am, not just the projections and reflections. Because people pleasing is just a projection of what you want others to see about yourself. But it doesn't mean it's who you truly are. Who you truly are is that version that's willing to say no. Who you truly are is that version that's willing to say yes. Who you truly are is that version that's willing to speak up. Who you truly are is that version that knows when to be silent and walk away. Who you truly are is not tied to what others will think about you. Who you truly are is tied to who and what you think about yourself. That's the key to keep. How do you think and feel about yourself? What do you know about yourself? What do you love about yourself? What do you notice about yourself? With yourself and also with relation to those around you. That self-awareness is key. And that's what allows you to keep true to your values. And your values increase your value. And your value increases your wealth. And your wealth is determined based on your relationship with your worth. Not in the world, but in you, in me. So I'm learning to like myself. In this new space, in this new time, in this new place, in this new position, I'm learning the new me. I know I've said this over and over again, how I'm a new me. Every 3 months, it feels like I'm changing and I'm growing and I'm developing into a whole new man. But the truth is, it's true. But it doesn't mean everything behind me gets left behind. Z carries the entire alphabet, A through Y. And Z is also going to be the transitioner into the A through the next Z. So I see it as my responsibility to get to know me, get to learn me, get to love me, so therefore I can learn what this temple, what this being, what this superpower of a human is able to do and be, so therefore I can share what I have with those that I love, with those that I know, and with those around me. But most importantly, first, I get to share that with myself. Those light codes, those downloads, I get to share that with myself. The nutrients, the minerals, I get to share that with myself. The love, the kindness, the grace, the faith, the compassion, the knowledge, the determination, the praise. I get to share that with myself first. And I'm learning what it means to serve from your overflow. It's not about being selfish. It's about fulfilling yourself with yourself. And knowing that yourself is directly connected to source. And there is no limit to what source can do. There is no limit on what source can be. And there is no limit on what source has for you and for me. So when you remember who you are, as MG says it, you remember whose you are and who you belong to. Yeah, you might have came through your parents, but you came from Coach. You came from God. You came from the stars. You came from the divine. And that energy is internal. Since the beginning of time, before the Bible, and after the end of times when none of this exists anymore, that will still be here. That's how deep your lineage goes and grows. So remember that who you are is not limited to this moment. Who you are will live lifetimes beyond your memory and beyond your manifestations. Root yourself in that truth. So therefore, everything beyond that is just a bonus. And who you are, you really get to be grateful and gracious with, because you know how special, how potent, and how powerful you truly are. And how needed you are. You fought trillions of cells, and the egg selected you to be the one that she infused with. It's a powerful connection. And that harmonization of the masculine and feminine is how we become one with one another and ourselves. So I pray from this message you learn how special it is to like you, how beautiful it is to love you, and how honored you are to learn you. It's an honor to learn you. It's an honor to learn me. It's a beauty to love me. It's a beauty to love you. And it's our responsibility to like ourselves, not for the world or other people to like us. Because as you rise and as you rest, as I rise and as I rest, it's my responsibility to love, like, and learn myself. So in a past episode, we talked about lead yourself first. Well, in this episode, we talking about learn yourself first, like yourself first, and love yourself first. That's how you lead yourself. And when you do those L's, what is that? Them 4 L's leads to a square, and that square is a doorway into the blessings before you and the blessings of everyone after you. For your partner, for your friends, for your peers, for your coworkers, for your customers, for your clients, for your business, for your children, for everybody, for everyone and everything will be blessed the more you bless yourself. So I love me, I like me as I continue to learn me every single day in every single way. I pray you do the same. I pray you choose your change. choose your change, and play your game. Peace.